There's a quiet moment, just before the world wakes up, before the notifications start, before the mind races toward unfinished tasks. In that stillness, something sacred is waiting. Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning and felt the weight of the day pressing down before you even stood up? That silent battle between hope and worry begins the moment your heart remembers what yesterday left unfinished. And in that fragile instant, you wonder, where do I place my first thought? Some people begin their day chasing schedules. Others reach for their phones, but a few, just a few, pause. They choose to begin with something deeper than duty or distraction. They choose connection. Did this message speak to your heart? If it did, imagine how much more is waiting for you. Hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of encouragement, prayer, or daily inspiration. And if this video brought peace or clarity to your day, give it a like. It helps us reach more hearts that need this message right now. You're not walking alone. Here, we grow together, in faith, in hope, and in purpose. We'll see you in the next video. This message is for those few, or for anyone who wants to be one of them. Because what if your day didn't have to begin in survival mode? What if the first voice you heard wasn't your own inner critic, but a voice that calms, that steadies, that reminds you who you really are? We're not here to preach. We're here to remind you that your mornings matter, that there's power in what you give your first breath to, that the way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. You may not know what's coming today. There might be deadlines, conversations, or detours you didn't plan, but before all of that, before anything else, you have the choice to anchor yourself in something unshakable. So take this moment, not because it's perfect, but because it's yours. A breath, a pause, a sacred beginning. Let this be more than background noise. Let it be your invitation to slow down, listen deeper, and remember that even the quietest prayers can echo throughout the day. Are you ready to begin differently? There's something we all carry into a new day. Plans, fears, expectations. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's quiet, but it's always there. You might wake up thinking about everything you need to do, or maybe it's what happened yesterday that won't let you rest. The world moves fast, and before you know it, your heart is full of things you didn't ask to carry. But what if today you didn't have to hold it all alone? What if the very first thing you did wasn't to solve, fix, or chase, but to hand over what you were never meant to carry? Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of control that was never yours to begin with. It's saying, I can't, but I trust that something greater can. You don't have to be strong for everyone all the time. You don't have to pretend that everything is okay when it isn't. You don't have to know how it all ends. Right now, you just need to breathe and choose trust over tension. So take those thoughts, the worries about money, the argument from last night, the fear of not being enough, and set them down, just for a moment. Place them into the hands of the one who sees the whole picture, not just today. Speak it out loud or whisper it in your heart. I release this to you. Your schedule, your relationships, your questions, even the silence that hasn't been answered yet. Lay it down, not because you're weak, but because you're wise enough to know you weren't built to carry it all. You were made for peace, not pressure. Let this moment be a turning point, not the place where your stress begins, but where it finally rests. Give permission to yourself to start fresh, to trust that you don't have to figure it all out before you move forward. This isn't just another morning, it's a reset, a realignment. A chance to walk lighter, think clearer, and feel grounded in something deeper than circumstances. So, what are you willing to lay down today? There's a strange space we all visit, between what we hope for and what we can't see. It's not always comfortable, it's not always quiet, but it's real. It's that space where answers haven't arrived, where plans shift, where the future looks blurry, and all you have is today, and sometimes even today feels unsure. We all crave stability. We long for guarantees. We want to know how things will turn out, but life doesn't always come with previews or clear instructions. Some days all you get is one small step and the courage to take it. That's where trust begins, not in certainty, but in the middle of the unknown. You don't need to have everything figured out to move forward. You don't need to pretend you're fearless. Real faith isn't about being unshakable. It's about choosing to take another step, even when the ground ahead isn't visible. Maybe you're standing at a crossroads right now. You've prayed, you've waited, you've tried to be patient, but the silence is louder than the answer you were hoping for. The door you expected to open stayed shut, and now you're wondering, what now? That question isn't a failure. It's a doorway, a place where you can choose peace over panic. You may not know how things will work out, but you're not walking alone. There's a presence that goes before you, even if you can't trace it. There's wisdom guiding your path, even when the map seems blank. Sometimes the greatest act of trust is to pause, breathe, and say, I still believe. Believe that you're not forgotten. Believe that this delay isn't a denial. Believe that your life is being shaped even in the waiting. In moments of doubt, remind yourself of what hasn't changed. The sun still rises. Mercy still meets you. Grace still holds you up. And hope? It's still alive. The unknown isn't your enemy. It's the space where your belief grows. It stretches you. It deepens you. It teaches you to rely on something more solid than circumstances. Something that doesn't shake when everything else does. If fear knocks, let it find a door that won't open. Let your heart answer with trust, not trembling. You were never asked to have all the answers. You were simply invited to stay close to the one who does. Let go of the pressure to predict every outcome. Focus instead on the next right thing, a kind word, a quiet prayer, a brave decision to keep going. What lies ahead may surprise you, not with danger, but with purpose, with provision, with grace tailor-made for the road you didn't expect to walk. So today, trust, not because you see clearly, but because you're not depending on sight to lead you. The unknown will always exist, but fear doesn't have to. You can walk through questions with peace. You can hold hope in the dark, and when your voice shakes and your heart feels uncertain, whisper this: I may not understand it all, but I know I'm not abandoned, because sometimes that's enough. Words carry weight. What we say, out loud or in silence, has power. Not just to describe the world around us, but to shape the atmosphere within us. Each morning gives us a choice, to repeat what fear tells us, or to declare what faith knows to be true. You may not control every situation, but you can choose your response. And that response begins with the phrases you let live in your mind. Try this. Instead of saying, I'm overwhelmed, choose, I am equipped for this moment. Instead of thinking, I don't have enough, speak, provision finds me today, even in unexpected ways. When you feel behind, remind yourself, I'm walking at the pace of grace, not pressure. Declarations are not about pretending problems don't exist. They're about refusing to let those problems define your mindset. They're reminders of your worth, anchors in the storm, beacons of light in early hours. Maybe your morning begins with doubts, or fatigue, or even sadness you can't explain. That doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human, but you can still open your mouth and declare life. Speak over your body. Strength fills me, even in weakness. Speak over your relationships. Peace surrounds my words. Understanding replaces conflict. Speak over your work. Purpose follows my effort. Favor meets my labor. These statements don't come from wishful thinking. They come from choosing to align your thoughts with truth, not with fear. From believing that even if everything around you is uncertain, something steady lives inside you. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait to feel strong. Declare what you need before you see it. That's how mountains start to move, word by word. Even your internal dialogue matters. Your thoughts, repeated often, become beliefs. So why not feed your spirit with truth? Today, let these affirmations fill the space before anxiety does. I am not defined by yesterday. My steps are guided, even if I don't see the full path. Kindness begins with me. Hope rises with every breath I take. I am not behind. I'm exactly where I need to be. Sometimes, all it takes is one line to shift your entire perspective. No matter what comes, you can return to the power of spoken truth. You can whisper strength into a moment that feels weak. You can rewrite your inner script before the world tries to do it for you. It's not magic. It's alignment. It's a decision. So today, as your feet touch the floor and the world begins to call your name, pause just for a moment and speak what you need to hear. Let your own voice become the sound of courage. Let your words light the way forward. As the hours unfold, so do the challenges. You step out, not always knowing what waits ahead. Unexpected moments, heavy conversations, unseen tensions. Even on the most peaceful mornings, the world outside can shift quickly. But you're not stepping into the unknown uncovered. There is a covering, unseen yet constant. A shield not made of metal but of presence. An invisible guard that moves with you, surrounds you, steadies you. Think about it. How many times have you been protected from things you never saw coming? Delays that frustrated you, only to keep you from danger. Gut instincts that helped you avoid the wrong decision. That's not chance. That's care. Divine protection isn't always loud. Often it works quietly, in the background, behind the scenes, like a shadow that walks beside you, adjusting what you can't control, securing what you can't reach. And no, it doesn't mean nothing difficult will ever happen. But it does mean you'll never face those moments alone. So as you enter your day, speak this over yourself. Wherever I go, I'm not alone. What I can't handle, I don't have to carry by myself. I am safe, even when I don't feel strong. You may encounter pressure, but you are not defenseless. Stress might show up, but it doesn't own you. Fear may try to sneak in, but it won't stay, because you are anchored in something stronger. Let every task you face today be covered with wisdom. Let every room you enter carry your calm. Let every decision you make be guided by something deeper than impulse. You're not left to figure things out in your own strength. You have guidance. You have clarity. You have help. Even if your surroundings feel chaotic, your inner world can remain steady. Your mind can stay clear. Your heart can be guarded from the noise. Speak peace into the situations you walk into. Whisper calm over your mind before the meetings begin. Speak stillness into your heart before the commute starts. Invite clarity before the choices arrive. And when you feel pressure rising, pause. You don't need to push through everything. You're allowed to breathe, to reset, to ask for help, even silently. The one who watches over you does not sleep. You're noticed, you're held. You're guarded in ways you may never fully understand. So move forward today, not with fear, but with assurance. You don't walk alone. You don't make every decision without guidance. You don't fight every battle unarmed. You're wrapped in care that never wears out. Let that be your confidence, even when the day surprises you. Let that be your calm when uncertainty knocks. Let that be your strength when the hours feel long. You are watched over, protected, guided, and in that truth, you are free to walk boldly into whatever comes next. Every sunrise whispers an invitation, a quiet offer to begin again. Not just externally with to-do lists and deadlines, but internally, deep beneath your skin, where your thoughts swirl and your spirit quietly waits. You carry more than you show, moments that didn't go as planned, words that stayed with you longer than they should have, wounds that don't leave bruises, yet still ache. And maybe no one else sees it, but you do. Some days we don't need new goals. We need a new lens. A fresh perspective that reminds us growth isn't always loud, and healing isn't always visible. You're allowed to reset. You're allowed to step back, breathe deeper, and question what you've been holding on to. What if today is less about what you accomplish and more about what you release? Let go of yesterday's mistakes, the ones that replay like broken records in your mind. You've replayed that moment enough. It can't be changed, but you can change how it follows you. You're not that version of yourself anymore. You're evolving, learning, rising, and forgiveness start with yourself. Maybe you expected more. Maybe you wish you'd said less. But today isn't a punishment for yesterday. It's a fresh page, and you get to decide what's written on it. Grace isn't earned, it's received. Give yourself permission to feel, to cry if you need to laugh again without guilt, to remember that strength sometimes looks like softness. This isn't about ignoring pain or pretending to be fine. It's about refusing to be chained by things that no longer define who you are becoming. Breathe in this truth. You are allowed to change. That old version of you, the one shaped by fear, shame, or self-doubt, doesn't get to write today's story. Growth may be slow, but it's still growth. You're not behind, you're becoming. Let the weight of past pressure roll off your shoulders. You're not obligated to carry regret. You don't owe guilt your energy. And fear, it doesn't get to choose your direction. Instead, refill what's been drained. Speak kindness over your heart. Drink in stillness. Wrap your thoughts in peace. And remember, your value isn't tied to how productive you are, how perfect you perform, or how others perceive you. You are worthy simply because you're breathing. Let that truth change how you walk, how you speak, how you show up in the small moments. Even when the world feels demanding, you can choose softness. You can take breaks without shame. You can rest without needing to explain. This is not laziness. It's sacred renewal. Pause. Check in with yourself. What do you need that you've been ignoring? What dream have you buried under responsibility? What hope have you silenced for the sake of being practical? Resurrect that. Dust off what made your soul light up. Return to that whisper in your spirit that says, there's still more ahead. This is your moment to realign, to remember your why, to stop running long enough to feel the ground beneath your feet again. Look in the mirror, not for flaws, but for signs of resilience. You're still here. After the disappointments, after the setbacks, after the unanswered prayers, you're still standing, and that is no small thing. So speak life over this day. Not because everything is fixed, but because you're not finished. You are being renewed, not just once a year. Not just when life slows down, but right now, today, breath by breath, you are allowed to begin again. And this time, you're beginning stronger, wiser, and more anchored than ever. Beyond all the noise, past the lists and expectations, there's a place within you that longs for something deeper. Not answers, not instructions, just presence. It's not found in loud declarations or perfect routines. It happens in those small, often unnoticed moments when your heart reaches out and something sacred meets it. True intimacy with the divine isn't about fancy words or rehearsed prayers. It's about awareness, a steady awareness that you're not walking alone, that someone sees you, knows you, and chooses to stay. When you feel overwhelmed, whisper nothing. Just breathe. That breath, honest and open, can speak louder than 1,000 lines of scripture. Invite peace without performance. Invite guidance without pressure. Let your questions linger without rushing for solutions. Let silence teach you something that noise never could. Maybe it's in a walk outside. Maybe in the stillness between responsibilities. Maybe in the way you notice beauty in the ordinary. Wherever it is, lean into it. This connection isn't something you earn. It's something you allow. You don't have to impress. You don't have to beg. Just be present. Let your Creator meet you there, in the middle of your reality, not after it's cleaned up, but exactly as it is. And in that place, something changes. Not always the situation, but you. You walk lighter, you think clearer, you love deeper, and you remember, this sacred closeness is always available, not just in emergency, but in the everyday. So pause, acknowledge, receive. He's closer than you thought. The day will keep moving. The world won't wait. But before you step back into the current of responsibilities, take one more breath and ask yourself, what will shape the rhythm of your hours today? Will it be urgency or purpose, noise or stillness, routine or presence? You're not just passing through another set of hours, you're carrying light into spaces that desperately need it. So choose to respond with intention, look someone in the eyes, offer kindness where it's least expected. Be present in a world that rushes past moments without noticing them. And if your faith wavers or your strength feels small, remember, even quiet trust echoes louder than fear. Let today be a reflection of the clarity you felt here. Let the peace follow you. Let the stillness guide you. You don't have to shout to make an impact. Sometimes the calmest voice holds the most power. If this time spoke to you, hold it close. Share it with someone who may need the same reminder. And when tomorrow comes, start again. With awareness, with gratitude, with quiet strength. Because every sunrise brings more than light. It brings the chance to choose again.